Good evening, English 111 classes. I am just sending this video out very briefly to help orient both English 111 D16 and English 111 D18 to some changes to our schedule. And I also wanted to explain some upcoming assignments a little bit because we didn't really have that much time to go over them in class. So, today we'll be focusing on the research paper proposal and the research paper assignments. And I should also say that I am composing this video on 3/26, which is the day before we engage in a period of instructional recess again. Instructional recess means that I'm not supposed to do any educational activity pertinent to our school during that period of time. The reality is that that sounds like it would be pretty disruptive for most of your lives, so I'm going to continue to post course content. It's just that none of it is going to be due until after the period of instructional recess is over on, I believe, April 2nd. That should be the date. So we'll continue to operate more or less as we have, and the due dates for most of the coursework that we're engaging with right now will just be pushed a little bit later. So right now, if you are working on catching up on class discussion posts on Blackboard, or you're working on catching up on like journal entries, you'll have until April 10th to complete that work instead of March 31st. And if you are watching this on a cell phone and don't have access to a computer, you should let me know, and I will follow up with you to try and give you some resources to help you actually get a computer so that you can participate in distance learning, because doing any of this stuff without a computer is really, really difficult. So just to kind of kick this whole discussion off, the research paper proposal assignment was initially due pretty soon. I think it was due today for section D16 and tomorrow for section D18. That's no longer going to be the case. I'll be sending out updated syllabi over the next 2 days, and the dates on the syllabi are the accurate dates for these assignments. I should also say that the research proposal assignment is basically an assignment that you want to work on before you actually start to draft your research paper. And it unfolds in two phases. The first phase is the phase that's about to be due. It's the phase that I told you guys you don't need to worry about right now. But all the first phase is you sending me an email where you try to declare your topic and you tell me why you might be interested in that topic, which is pretty straightforward. I feel like that one shouldn't break anyone's back. The idea is that I want you to check in with me so you don't end up writing a full draft of a research paper about a topic that you probably won't be able to write a successful research paper on. We want to get ahead of things. We want to try and make sure that we're working together to make sure that your paper is going to develop along a helpful sort of like developmental path. So the only thing you need to worry about right now is sending me that declaration before, I want to say it's either April 10th or April 13th for both classes. Like I said, check your syllabus. You'll be receiving an updated version of it from me tonight if you haven't already. The final draft's due dates will be unchanged. Now, I'm looking at the D16 version of this assignment here, so it's April 21st for this class. I believe it's something different for English 111 D18. You'd want to check the assignment sheet you received from me a while ago. And I've also posted this to the course Blackboard site under the content section. So the proposal, like the formal proposal that will be due in mid-April, will have sort of a very particular structure to it. This is the assignment where I actually ask you to write in a specific structure so that I can assess your progress on this particular assignment. So that structure is fivefold. It's basically I'm asking you to write something that has 5 little paragraph sections to it. The first section is a description of your research project, including the topic, the approach you plan to take to discussing it, and your feelings on the subject in general. Pretty straightforward. So a declaration of topic, then a progress report on your work so far, including the research you've completed to date and any work you've done on the assignments, also any problems you've run into. So like you just saying like, hey, I didn't start this, or hey, I basically spent like 2 hours in the public library on this and then gave up. That's a progress report. you've just gotten 1% of your grade from emailing me that. And then finally, I want you to send me a plan of action on how you plan to attack different aspects of your paper. So that's just there to make sure that I know you have a plan, or if any of your ideas sound like something that I've seen fail for other students in the past, I have a chance to tell you, hey, you probably don't want to do that, and here's why. The last section, and the most complicated one for most students, is the annotated bibliography, which is basically a combination of a citation for your sources, two sources specifically, and then a paragraph where you discuss or describe that citation and talk about how you see it fitting into your paper. So if you have those three elements I described before and two annotated bibliography entries, you'll receive full credit for turning in your proposal. Um, Now, I'm not I'm not trying to make you guys do this right away. This is just to give you a sense of what's coming down the pipe. So that's what this video is really all about, just making sure that you have a sense of where you'll be going in the near future. The thing you should most immediately concern yourself with is sending me some kind of declaration of topic before the date stated in your updated syllabus that you've received today. So the other side of this is the final research paper. As you can see, the research paper has a set of topics, but I'm not going to read through this whole thing on YouTube. You guys can read through this on your own. The major concern I have for this assignment at this point is that you have a topic selected and that that topic has sources that you can access. We'll be kind of going over this a few more times. I'll be making maybe 2 or 3 more YouTube videos intended to give you a sense of how to begin drafting this paper and how to locate sources for this paper. I'll also probably do something on citation, which is pertinent to both the paper itself and the proposal assignment. But at this point, what I really want you to do is to try to come up with a topic for this paper. And the best way to do that is to either pick one of the topics over here that you're actually interested in, or to pick a topic you want to learn more about. Now, you notice I said you want to learn more about, not one that you think you know a lot about already. That's because a good research paper comes from a process of inquiry, which means it comes from you investigating an issue and asking questions about that issue. So what you really want to do at the end of your sort of proposal draft process is have questions you want to look into, questions you really want answers to, that will probably lead you to other questions. So, for instance, if you vehemently believe that gun control is a bad idea or that it's a good idea, that would make it a bad topic for you to write a research paper on because you already have a very set opinion. But let's say you think it's weird that America has such a vitriolic debate on gun control, and you want to find out why that happened and where it came from. If you were to do so, you would probably end up Googling questions like, where did gun control come from, or how did the gun control movement, or like gun rights movement, start in the United States? And you might find out that, weirdly enough, it is linked to the Black Panthers. I'm not kidding. The first gun control measures in the United States actually came down in response to the Black Panthers occupying government buildings while carrying weapons. Um, Before you ask, the NRA did not support them at the time. Who would have guessed? So, that kind of a discovery would probably prompt you to ask additional questions, like maybe, how does the gun rights movement feel about civil rights or other civil rights or anti-racism as a sort of philosophy? And then you might end up finding a bunch of articles that deal with race and guns, and your paper has suddenly evolved into this complicated thing that will definitely have an argument at its core, but that probably wasn't what you saw yourself writing at the beginning of this process. And that's what a good research question can actually facilitate. It can move your paper in a direction that will eventually generate a solid argument. In that case, the argument might be that gun clubs have kind of done some good anti-racist work in certain areas where they would, where there's a lot of sort of racial segregation, or it might be that a lot of institutions that ostensibly fight for civil rights through the lens of gun control have absolutely failed to help people of different races actually try and facilitate other civil rights that seem like they're also quite important. Um, there's no wrong approach to this paper except just trying to research something to prove a point you already believe in. That's just Googling stuff to see if you can find people who agree with you on the internet. And while that is a tried and true way to try and win an argument with a friend of yours, it is a bad way to try and write a paper for a college class. So please don't do that. Um, Again, the idea here is that you just want to try and send me some sort of tentative research paper topic before the date stated on your updated course syllabus. So please check your syllabus and email me if you have any questions, or come find me on Zoom. You guys seem to like Zoom, and it's nice to be able to talk to some of you guys and walk you through some of the issues you've been having. I'm always happy to help. All right. This is all I'm going to do for today, but I hope everyone has a happy, safe institutional recess. And remember, you don't have to finish anything I send you until after the institutional recess period. I'm just going to be making sure that you guys have, like, stuff from me to keep you from getting too bored at home. Peace.